All right, everybody, welcome to the meeting here. I guess I'll get started on here. It is 12:17 p.m. meeting of the Chittenden County Regional Planning Commission's MS-4 subcommittee of its Clean Water Advisory Committee. Annie and Chelsea, I was thinking I could just get some of the business stuff done early, and then the other discussion items, you guys can share that. Does that sound good?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So our agenda here. So the agenda looks like we'll just do a quick approval of some old minutes. Stream team programming update by Remy. And then the MS-4 permit issues discussion. Christy, is Chris going to be joining us, or maybe he's on already?
I think he said he was going to, but I don't know. I can share what I know.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, and then we'll talk about any updates at the end. Chris Dubin might hop on with a brief update on things and any member updates as well. Let's see. So the minutes, again, they're available on the website here. The first set is September 7th. Well, actually, before we do that, is there any public comment or changes to the agenda or items not, public comment about items not on the agenda? Okay. The first set of minutes here, September 7th. We're redoing these now because they were not posted in time in the past. So September 7th, adopted drain update, NRCD update, pluck update, discussion on the issue of stormwater outfalls on private lands, Connecticut Watershed Group request for some design help. So that's the minutes from September 7th. Any, we get a motion on that? Anybody?
I'll make a motion, Dan. It's Annie.
I'll second it. This is Karen.
Thank you. Motion has been made and seconded to approve the minutes of September 7th, 2021. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any no votes? Okay, and any abstentions? All right, sounds good. There's done. Next set of minutes, February 1st. And, so this is our last meeting last month. You guys approved the calendar year 2021 minimum control measure reports. Extended discussion on the stream gauge results by Dave Brown and Megan Arpino. And a lot of stuff in there. Thanks, and Dave helped me with those updates, staff and member updates, etc. So that's the minutes of February 1st. Need a motion on that?
This is Burlington. We'll motion to approve.
For the second?
I'll second again. I'm Karen.
Okay, all those in favor of approving the minutes of February 1st as drafted and posted, say aye.
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 Any nay votes or abstentions? All right. That's it for the minutes. I will turn it over to Remy here, and I'll turn to Annie and Chelsea can take care of the chairing there. So, and you should be able to share your screen if you want, Remy.
Great, thanks, Dan. Thanks for having me, everyone. my name's Remy Katol. I'm the district manager for Winooski NRCD. So I manage our conservation specialist and agriculture specialist, as well as my own suite of conservation projects for the district, mostly design and implementation projects. Right now, things like stream bank restoration, dam removal, stormwater retrofits. So that's a bit about my background. My background's in ecology and conservation. Worked for the Winooski Valley Park District for about 7 years as their project coordinator, managing conservation projects, habitat restoration, updating park management plans, conducting natural resource inventories, and then coordinating summer camp and after school programs, as well as seasonal park maintenance crew. So I joined the district in last May. So it's 8 or 9 months now. And as I'm sure most of you know, Kristen has recently moved on to a new position with BYCC. So I'm sure you guys were all very pleased with Kristen's performance as the stream team coordinator. She was a really great part of our team. So we're sad to see her go, but excited for a new chapter as well. So the conservation specialist position has been posted last week, and it will remain open until about March 22nd. And we've already been receiving some promising candidates for the position, which is very reassuring. We're definitely looking for someone with a strong clean water background, water quality testing experience, a lot of the things that would translate really well to a strong stream team coordinator. And that being said, stream team will be their primary focus as they kind of come on, hopefully at the beginning of April. I know we've got a decent amount of money to spend down before the end of the fiscal year, so I'll be putting some time into stream team as well as that new hire, and really get the ball rolling pretty quickly this spring, and as soon as they come on board. So Kristen's provided me some pretty in-depth training on the program. I've reviewed a lot of the materials on our drive and whatnot, and she's left a pretty comprehensive written document as well for me during this transition time, as well as for when a new hire gets started. So I'm feeling like we're in pretty good shape to make this transition as smooth as possible. Some updates on some of the initiatives currently. We have confirmed 12 sampling sites for the 2022 water quality sampling program through La Rosa. The annual meeting for that and orientation will be held in early April. So I'm hoping that our new hire will have started by then and be able to attend. But I have reached out to the project coordinators and asked if that training could be recorded as well, just so that the new hire can use that as a resource and reference it back. I will be planning to attend that regardless. And I will also plan on running the volunteer training day, which will also probably take place in mid-August as well. So hopefully the new hire will have started by then. I'll sort of facilitate that training day and have the new hire shadow me for that. And then sampling will begin April 26th and end August 4th. I think that's a little bit earlier, a little earlier start to the season and an earlier end to the season. And I believe that's in relation to water levels and, you know, smaller tributaries drying out later in the summer. So they've kind of moved that timeline of sampling a little bit forward. The other initiative is the Adopt a Drain program. So some of the next steps for the Adopt a Drain are finalizing the yard sign design, which I've sent around and shared to the Adopt a Drain towns. And thank you for those of you that got back to me with a few comments. I'm going to try and share my screen just so that we can get any feedback on additional changes. So Karen and James, thanks for your feedback on adding some more visual aids to the design. I think that's a good suggestion. I think particularly the addition of some fish to bring a little bit more of a natural element to it as well would be a good addition. If anybody has any specific images or visual aids that they would like to see incorporated, I know fish, kayakers, and champ were recommended. We can start with those. I was also going to reach out to Dave and see if Pluck had any kind of images or icons that would be consistent with the branding through our other platforms and stuff, so I can see what Dave has to share.
I can just chime in because I just want to make sure. I don't know, and I know initially when we started this was going to be co-branded as Rethink Runoff. I don't know how much that's going to actually be the case, in that I know the letters that are going out and things don't have runoff on them. It seems like it's been very decentralized to the towns, and so we may be able to ask them to put the logo on this. I'm just kind of a little confused on what the relationship is, because I did ask them a couple weeks ago, and basically they sent me the same packet that they sent Kristen at the time, and a lot of it was like, put your town logo here, one logo, can't change the colors, can't change the fonts. I don't know if, like, on the street sign like this, if we want to include the logo, but then do we also include the URL? I'm not sure. I didn't really get a good sense from Adopt a Drain how cohesive this is and how possible it is. And I haven't been in a lot of the initial conversations in terms of, like I said, I reached out to them, but I just got the packet, like the default packet that just kind of really gives an overview of things. And so I just want to make sure whether I can push back to them, but I know things like colors and stuff it didn't even seem like that was on the table. I know the color is similar to what we use, but it's not kind of the palette. And so I just want to make sure people here kind of understand that and are okay with that. Or if it's decided push back, that's fine. At the same time, we can definitely, and we intend to put a page on the site kind of directing people to this. So I guess it's kind of that question of what level are we engaging this as a program of Rethink Runoff? And then part two is, what can we actually do? Because it doesn't look like my hands are actually going to be on any of these materials from what I gather.
I'm going to jump in here. I guess from my perspective, and I know it's my memory, I thought was something to the effect of maybe it was both logos, but but I think it's, to the extent we can, I think it's really clear. Like when I just look at this graphic here on the screen, to me, it really needs to be, it's rethinkrunoff.org, and maybe there's something at the bottom that says a program in collaboration with adoptadrain.org or something like that.
I don't know if that's possible though. Like, I was reading some of these bylines in the, not the contract per se, but like branding restrictions and stuff. And again, like, we didn't, we're having them produce all of this material. Like, I think what we heard from the sales pitch and then what we have are kind of a little different. The sales pitch was like, yeah, sure, whatever you want. And now that we're in it, it's, oh, wait. So we can ask them if we, how we want to do this, but I don't know, we our hands might be tied at this stage. But yeah, I can Remy, who are you working with there as like your primary contact?
Jennifer.
Okay, yeah. And that's when, when I asked about customization, she sent me kind of the deck and on that, it was very specific. Like you get to put like one logo on the letter. You can fill a little bit of information. So I'm not really sure. I can reach back out and just try to make sure, see what our customization is. And I don't know what, how much you want me to kind of take over some of the outreach and the visuals. I'm happy to do that. And I can kind of report back probably pretty quickly what our options are.
Yeah, Dave, I think that you'd be best suited
Okay.
to do that. I think that, you have the vision when it comes to the marketing and the branding. So I think as much as we can tie the two programs together would be best.
Okay.
But yeah, if you want to take the lead on that, that would be great.
Sure.
Then the yard sign, which it seems like we'll have some follow-up between Dave and I. And Dave, if you want to just keep me CC'd on that conversation so I know where it goes, that would be great.
Yeah.
Jenny has also indicated the Vermont webpage should be created probably later this week. And that she will then upload all of the GIS data that each of the town reps provided. And she'll reach out individually to the town reps to get them set up in that. If you need any help during that process, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to help in any way that I can. And then the launch date will be April 22nd, which is Earth Day. So I'll be coming up with a number of different ideas in terms of, what that kind of launch and stuff might look like. I guess I'm curious to hear if there was any discussion about that in the past and or what different towns might be doing for Earth Day. If you guys have any events that are already existing that we could potentially plug into.
We hadn't gotten that far.
Okay.
That was the next steps after getting the information to Hamline University. So I think the smaller subset of us, the municipalities should meet again and try to do something more unified for launching.
Okay. Sounds good. Thanks, Chelsea.
Yeah.
And then other spring events that we're hoping to do, we're hoping to hold a regional rain barrel workshop. And we're thinking that we'll use a hybrid model. I think we have about funding for 40 rain barrels, as Kristen described it to me. So we were thinking of doing a hybrid model where we offer a in-person workshop with 20 slots available. And then also offer 20 kits that would be available for pickup and home construction and sold for, I believe, $40, which is pretty much the cost of time and materials. So that's our hope to get that rolled out this spring as well. And then some other things that we're hoping to roll out this summer would be to host some sort of project or event in South Burlington, Williston, Winooski, and Shelburne, the towns that aren't currently running the Adopt a Drain program. So I'll brainstorm with the new hire when they get started. But some projects might include stream cleanups, rain garden installations, tabling at events as the weather gets nicer. So we'll develop those ideas as we move along, but the hope is to host an event in each town. And other than that, Annie and Chelsea, I owe you a monthly report, and I'll try and get that to you by the end of the week.
Quick question on I think it's a good idea to do the 20 slots for the in-person, because how many people can you physically manage and keep an eye on and stuff.
Right.
Based upon the prior demand, I'm guessing that the other 20 kits could probably go relatively quickly, and I'm wondering if there's any, how easy it would be potentially to ramp that up, because it's almost a good model of just, it's almost like an ongoing thing. You don't promote it too heavily, but somebody could go to the website like, oh yeah, there's the kit. Where's the kit? I'll go pick it up. And, or people will go, oh, I meant to sign up, or I forgot, or, you know, that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
how feasible it is to get another 20 or 40 or 50 or whatever. So,
Yeah, I think that might depend on the availability of the barrels themselves. So Kristen did provide the contact information for the person that we're currently sourcing them from. And then I think the other question would be storing those barrels. They take up a good amount of space. So while I think that we could probably, you know, prep those kits fairly easily, we would need, you know, more of a long-term storage solution.
yeah. And one other thing that occurs to me, because part of the thing is like it gets people thinking about rain barrels, but I wonder how easy it would be to get a simple sticker, like a bumper sticker that goes on it. So then people are walking by, oh, what's that? Rethink runoff.
That's a great idea, Dan. I do like that quite a bit. I can look into that and touch base with Dave too and see if we can get.
Yeah, Dave could get you an easy quote on that, and we've done that sticker company. I still have. When you get ready for tabling, reach out to me because I do have all the stickers from Sticker Mule that were. I think I got to get them to the towns too if you want them. So
Okay, thanks, Dan.
now that
Yeah.
COVID's winding down, I'll go through that old list of how many for each town because I still have that order. So yeah.
Just Dan, real quick, just spinning off of that idea with the sticker. I think that's a fabulous idea. Maybe a QR code to kind of help link to our website would.
Yeah, these are great ideas. Thank you. Other than that, I think those are the current updates that I have. So again, as we move through the Adopt a Drain program, if any of the municipalities need assistance kind of navigating that, I'm here to provide any support you might need.
Thank you, Remy. Are there any questions for Remy? Okay, I think if you do want to send out a poll, Remy, for the Adopt a Drain towns, we can meet. There's a smaller subset with you and Dave and Dan.
Sure, that sounds great.
Thanks. So I think with that, we can move on to the next agenda item.
Hey, Chelsea, this is James. Can I just note one thing with regards to the Adopt a Drain program?
Absolutely.
The city of Burlington is going to have its own separate waiver, and we're working with Adopt a Drain on adding that functionality to their website. Essentially, if someone picks a Burlington basin, it'll trigger a second waiver. We're going to pay for that additional functionality, but if any other municipalities thought they would want a waiver, now is probably the time to touch base so we can make sure they can do it all at once as opposed to piecemeal. So if you are, just reach out to me directly and I can add you to that conversation.
Thanks. Okay. So with that, we'll move on to the MS-4 permit discussions. I guess, Christy, the floor is yours. The first thing on the list was the status of the PCPs.
Yes, so let's see, South Burlington and UVM were on public notice. At UVM or South Burlington might still be on public notice, and UVM's if it hasn't been issued, it has been routed for issuance. The rest, those did not require comments, and so Emily Shelley is reviewing those, and those were, able to be issued without comments. So the rest of them will have comments varying from minor to maybe more substantial, but those should be forthcoming. I don't have a deadline for, or a time frame for exactly when that's going to be out. It is a priority for us, and we understand that you guys submitted those a long time ago and are waiting on us for those. Those are coming. Any questions on that before we move on to the annual reports? Okay. Annual reports, I think most of you are copied on an email or got an email from me about the annual reports this year, that it's the same format as last year. There is a fill-inable one-page form that basically says that you've completed the BMP tracking spreadsheet and the annual report workbook. We're doing it this way this year again, so that it's easy for you guys to fill out, and just take your last year's report and update the information so you don't have to re-input the same information. The dates in the spreadsheet say 2020 or 2019. You can change those. I'm not so concerned about that. I wanted to just keep everything as simple as possible. And then Dan mentioned an email that Chris Dubin had sent out earlier this morning, wanting to know what the process was for updating. Oh, Chris is here. The road segment upgrades, and basically you can coordinate with Chris on any upgrades that have happened to meet the road standards, anything that's happened in this past year, and then any new projects that you plan in the coming year. Those can be uploaded through the MRGP portal. And then in the annual report workbook, you can just say, yes, these have been logged in the portal. Chris, do you have any questions about that or comments?
No, just I'll be reaching out to all MS-4 towns in the next couple weeks, probably next week, do an initial email blast to get a sense from everyone if what work needs to be documented properly for the DEC MRGP portal. And we'll review that together briefly and make sure that our database is reflective of that, and then get that data over to DEC. But again, I don't foresee this data lift to be extremely large. I mean, most municipalities may be upgrading one or a handful of outlets at most in a given calendar year. So in some cases, for what it's worth, it could simply be, no, we did not do any changes to MRGP related assets. And, again, nothing needs to be changed. So I'll be reaching out and working one-on-one with, my contacts, and we'll make sure we get that data over to DEC by the end of the month.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris. And then last week, Karen had a good point about the changes related to the half-acre impervious threshold. July 1st is July 1st is the effective date that our new impervious surface permit implemented through the 9050. The threshold changes for to half an acre of impervious surface developed, and this cuts down the universe of projects that fall in that gap of MS development in MS4s that disturbs over an acre, but develops less than what was 1 acre of impervious will now be half an acre of impervious. So if there is a project that disturbs an acre, but creates less than half an acre of impervious, the MS4 has to have plans, policies, ordinances to address that. And Karen pointed out that we haven't given you, specific guidance of this threshold. Some municipalities have smaller thresholds. Some may have gone down to, if a project's going to build half an acre of impervious, we want them to do this green infrastructure or, rain gardens or something. And we haven't been prescriptive on that, and nothing in the MS4 permit or our expectations will change for you guys in this MS4 permit term with this change in threshold. It is something that we can look at with the next MS4 permit, like what does this mean for you guys, and what should be that standard that you're trying to achieve? Is it, what's the level of effort and what's the level of expectation? And we can, talk to EPA about what other municipalities have done, and, have a conversation about what kind of projects you are seeing that may disturb an acre but create less than half an acre of impervious, and what are the best strategies. But nothing is going to change at this point in the implementation of the MS4 permit. So Karen, I think you're out there. I hope that answers your question, but I can definitely, try to answer any more that come up.
Okay, thank you, Christy. Thanks for joining us to share. So just to make sure I'm understanding, the overarching requirement is that we have a program that's compliant with the general permit requirements. And since we have done that and our permits are authorized until 2023, there's no change expected or required of the communities until the next permit cycle at a minimum.
Yes.
And we'll be able to have a conversation about what the expectations are of DEC for us to demonstrate that we're meeting that requirement.
Yes.
Okay. I think for us, it presents the challenge. We do regulate between half an acre and an acre. And so now there's going to be dual regulation of those surfaces by the town and the state once your threshold drops in July. So I think I can pivot at least to addressing that question before I address what changes we'll need to bring to that program in the future to keep us in compliance with the rules. Okay.
Yeah, that sounds good. And I think it's a good conversation because, we've always taken a lot of just the federal language in the MS4 permit. And, we've written in our, unique operational permit into the MS4, but, thinking about, what could we change? What makes more sense? And if we can be clearer in that permit, that's great. So we should have those conversations.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that and for clarifying on the workbook. That's helpful.
Yeah. I think that's it for me on the agenda, but does anybody else have any other questions or anything that wasn't there?
Christy, this is Ryan Lambert, Winooski. Hi, I have a question with the PCP reports. We were planning on exploring soil conditions at some of our proposed project locations this summer. Just wondering if we should hold off on that, given comments are forthcoming.
I don't think so. I think you should go forth as planned. You can definitely send me an email saying, these are the sites that we are going out to. I don't think that there should be any comments related to, these aren't appropriate sites or these aren't meeting the standards. I know in talking to Emily, one of the high level comments she had mentioned to me is the targets in some plans, the projects weren't broken down by the drainage areas for the specific lake segments. And so those might not be meeting the targets per lake segment. But I think you should, long story short, I think you should go forward with those projects. I don't think that there are going to be comments saying, no, this isn't an appropriate project to do if you've identified those. But I'll touch back with her. Send me that comment. I'll run it by her, but I don't think there's going to be any issue like that. And I will try to fast track these so that you guys have that assurance of going forward.
Thanks.
Quick question, Christy, to follow up. And Winooski, I think, is not the only town that's engaging with consultants to kind of go do a little deeper dive on the planned sites. Is there a formal requirement, for example, let's say they go out and they go, oh yeah, turns out it's bad soil and they want to, quote unquote, a project's not feasible or not really going to work the way they thought it would. Is there a cycle that they're obligated to update their phosphorus control plan?
Wow, Dan, you're really jumping the gun. We haven't even approved them yet, and you want to amend them?
I just know so we can bankroll a bunch of money here to pay for all this stuff.
Yeah, off the top of my head, I don't know the answer. I'm trying to think.
And when's the PCP portal going to be up and running?
What? It's blowing my mind. Yeah, as for changes, I know that Emily had given guidance for changes to phosphorus control plans previously. And, we always struggled with, when does this require an official amendment to the approved plan and putting that on notice if it's a significant change. And with the flow restoration plans, we had always looked at if the project if it doesn't change the flow regime, if it's kind of in the same location, things like that, then we wouldn't require a plan amendment. I don't think there's anything in this MS-4 permit that talks about updates if there's a project that isn't feasible. I think it might be something that's just updated on the BMP tracking spreadsheet, because that's kind of like the long-term phosphorus accounting table that looks at the projects and the implementation plan. So yeah, off the top of my head, I don't think there's any official requirement for changes.
Thanks for that clarification. I think that'll help.
My brainstorm clarification, yeah.
Hey, Chrissy.
Hey, Dave.
So I had kind of a similar-ish question, more about how often changes will be made to policy on phosphorus control plans. I don't want to get into the specifics too much, but we have a project we're moving forward with where the city's not getting any credit on a project. It's like a public partnership type project where it's on land, and they're getting credit for their 3-acre 90/50 permit requirement, but it's treating a bunch of roadway, and the roadway's not being permitted under the 90/50 permit. We're not getting any credit on our phosphorus control plan, even though we're chipping in, towards that project cost. I talked with Emily about it. We basically agreed the city would move forward with the project and maybe amend or update policies later. I didn't know, now that are being implemented and realities of watersheds and drainage areas not following property lines, what opportunities there are for changing policies.
So I'm trying, I missed a little bit of what you said, but I'm thinking that the question is related to policies of overlap between MS-4 and 3-acre sites and crediting and
yeah, I think the way it's written now, we would have to take over, we'd have to roll this permit under MS-4.
yeah,
It's a permit for the Burlington Country Club, which spans into Burlington. So we'd be taking Burlington impervious into South Burlington's, so it's just complicated. It straddles towns, properties, watersheds, et cetera.
right. And so you can't, as the MS-4, get credit for that project. I hear you. Yeah, I don't have any answer on changing
I don't need to
policy, but I think that those are good. That is a big issue that we're kind of grappling with is the overlap of the 3-acre and the MS-4s and the roads. And, as it's written now, the MS-4 needs to take that over, and then that becomes part of the base load and the treatable area. But we can definitely keep that flagged as, if you have any creative solutions or ideas, we're definitely open to hearing those and keeping it flagged.
And yeah, our thought, I was talking with Emily, was we maybe somehow permit that offsite area. So we would have a standalone individual permit, something like that, and then we roll that, I don't know. But, and
Yes.
specific into this one scenario, more as like.
Yeah, no, it's a bigger issue for other municipalities too. Yeah, and we're starting to cross that bridge. So, yeah, I mean, thanks for bringing that up. I don't have an answer for that.
And then also with 3-acre sites. So if you have like a 3-acre site with 3 acres of impervious, and let's just say half an acre of that impervious was recently redeveloped and they put in like a gravel wetland. Is that area, like, is that project, like some sub redevelopment project, counted towards the credit of the whole 3-acre site, or is that amount of impervious essentially removed from the analysis?
I don't know. I don't know that. And we should probably bring in Terry on that discussion. Because I know that side of the house is making those determinations on 3-acre sites. I don't know how that's working for partially redeveloped sites.
For the record, who's Terry?
Oh, Terry is heading up all of the Chittenden County operational permitting. So I can definitely, his contact information is on our website.
If you want, just throw it in the chat or something.
Yeah, let me do that. But yeah, so right now we're down to two permit reviewers for the state. And so Terry Purcell is the northern half of the state and Michael Sadler is the southern half. So I will copy this information for you guys.
Wait, are these guys responsible? Are they responsible for the 3-acre permit as well?
Yes, yes.
Help, we grab people off the street.
We're trying our best to pull
I know you
people.
are. I know you are.
I think we have some job openings right now. I'm trying to pull this information, but
Sorry, we won't tell the commissioner about this.
I'm just gonna type this in the chat. Yeah, but Terry's great. He is actually great. So he's happy to look into things for you guys. But yeah, I mean, I have had some conversations with him about, you know, MS-4 overlap and sites.
One more question. Sorry. There have been conversations ongoing with Kevin about updates to the stormwater manual. Like there's some draft interim guidance that I don't think ever got published on like gravel wetland soils and bioretention soils and various design things. I was just curious. I thought maybe every 5 years the state was going to update the manual. And so since it was approved in 2017, are we looking at a 2022 update?
We are not, but I can look into that guidance and see is it anywhere on our website, or do you think it's in like files that just never got published as guidance?
I've got it in an email.
Send that to Chip and Terry saying, can this be used as official guidance? And they may be able to take a look at that and see if, yeah, I'm not familiar with manual updates or the guidance that goes along with that, but definitely, yeah, send it to Chip and Terry and we can go from there.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else for me? All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Was Chris Dubin gonna say anything? or
No,
did
that was
he-
pretty much what you heard from him was pretty much his update and stuff.
Okay. Is there any other updates from anyone they'd like to share?
I have a question for the group. Does anybody happen to know, and maybe Jill, maybe you can chime in, Jill Sarrazin, does anybody know what's going on with Blue Stormwater? Because I know their director had been pretty busy with some other stuff. So anybody got an update on Blue Stormwater home inspections or whatever they were called?
Yeah, I can chime in. Yeah, so I don't think I introduced myself either to the group, but I'm the Green Stormwater Infrastructure Coordinator with Lake Champlain Sea Grants, just started a couple months ago. And for the summer, as of right now, I think it's tabled in the broader Blue sense, but there is discussion to continue it, and I can provide an update as I know more. I'd be happy to. Maybe.
Are there any
And
planned
Dan,
contracts
too.
with any of the towns going on this summer or spring?
Not yet through Sea Grant.
Oh, wait, it would be through Sea Grant or through Blue?
Well, that I know of at least. That
Okay.
it'd be through
So Blue itself is sort of what, in hiatus for the time being, which is fine. I'm just trying to figure out what's going on.
yeah. I think so. Yeah, it's not true. I think Juliana like still has some contracts going, but I'm not sure what your plan is to continue.
Okay.
them.
Okay. Thanks. I'm just trying to figure out the universe of who's still out there doing what, so.
Yeah.
James Sherrard, do you have anything to add on this? Because you guys had a contract with them, or Karen Bates or Karen Adams, or
I don't have anything to add with regards to Blue's contracts.
Okay,
Blue is a project partner on a residential incentive program the city of Burlington is launching this spring / early summer. Right now, they're more of a consultant position that will help train some folks we're working with.
okay,
But
cool.
again, I can't speak directly to Blue's opportunities or their efforts in other towns, nor exactly who owns it. I know Juliana and James Ellers have an agreement, but I don't know where that stands precisely.
Gotcha. Okay,
Dan, I'm not sure about Blue, but I do know that WNRCD, Friends of the Mad River, and Friends of the Winooski were awarded an LCPB grant to continue our Storm Smart program, which is somewhat similar to Blue, and that will be available to residents within the district.
okay, when you get ready to promote that, let me know, because we can certainly put it on Rethink Runoff website, and we could also, promote it, for example, through our RPC newsletter and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. We're still finalizing our work plan, but later this spring, early summer, I'll get in touch.
And this is Karen. I'll offer that we had a 3-year program that we just concluded last year, and we are pivoting towards the Adopt a Drain. So we're not pursuing any other work with Blue at the moment. We certainly may explore that again in the future, but we wanted to give time for the program to find a place to live and get back up to speed before we wanted to continue that partnership.
Okay. If there's any kind of closeout report on that, or you want to give an update, because it would be interesting to see with 3 years of data, what the results were and the overall effort, just useful for the broader audience as well.
Yeah, we had them produce a year-end report for each of the 3 years. So I don't have one that summarizes the 3 years together, but I have the annual reports.
Okay.
I'd be happy
Well,
to share.
it'd be good from the standpoint trying to share it with the clean water service providers, because we're trying to figure out non-regulatory efforts. So I don't know if individual stream, but if you had a whole neighborhood do a project, it might be WISP eligible, just guessing, because it, depending on the town, may not be applicable in MS-4, but so not sure legally, but any information on citizen involvement is useful to have.
Sure.
Thank you. So I think I got nothing else as far as updates for me or anything like that. So we go on the agenda, or
It is the end of the agenda.
no, do
Oh.
we want to meet? Do we want to meet for April?
I think we can determine that offline.
Okay.
Maybe adopt a drain. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. I guess if there's no other comments, we can motion to adjourn the meeting. Okay. Then I guess the meeting is.
Sounds
I'll make
good.
a motion, Chelsea, on Germany.
Thanks, Chris.
Chris. All
I
right,
seconded it, Lonnie.
all right.
We're all official here.
You think approved by acclamation?
Yes. All right, thanks, everyone. Have a good one.
Thanks,
you.
you too.
Thanks. Yeah.